Next on City Spotlight, Effingham is our focus, and we will visit with the newly elected mayor, Jeff Bloemker, as well as Effingham Economic Development Director, Todd Hull. We will talk economic development, the building of the new sports complex, and the new library, and we will conclude the program talking about the busy festival and music scene in Effingham. City Spotlight begins now. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com. With us today is Jeff Bloemker, the mayor of Effingham, and Todd Hull, the Effingham Economic Development Director. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
Excellent. And before we get started on what's going on with Effingham, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Jeff first.
I'm a third generation Effingham resident, obviously born and raised in Effingham, graduated from Effingham High School in 1980, Eastern Illinois University in 1984. I've had the good fortune to be able to work for some of the more progressive and entrepreneurial companies in Effingham for the past 25 or 27 years. I'm married, have 3 children. One of them is just finished up her freshman year at SIU Edwardsville. I have a senior at Effingham High School and a junior at St. Anthony High School, so I've got them spread around pretty well.
And congratulations, you've a month ago you were named the 39th mayor of Effingham, so congratulations.
Well, thank you, yes, and it was a great honor. I mean, it's certainly a sentinel moment in my life, and something that it's a goal that I've harbored most of my life. When I was in college, I worked for the city in the summers on the mayor's crew, and I think that's probably where I first got my first desire to get involved with city government. So. Now the interesting thing is when I graduated from Eastern, I had no intention of living in Effingham or Central Illinois. I was like anybody else. I was going to move off to the big city. So it's interesting to me that 35 years later, I'm the mayor of Effingham.
Look forward to seeing what happens during your tenures. And Todd, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
I'm originally from Galesburg, grew up in Galesburg. I've been working with the city of Effingham for the last 27 years in economic development. My wife works at the St. Anthony's Hospital in Effingham, and I have 2 boys, one actually attending EIU right now, chemistry major, and my other son, he's a junior at high school, Effingham High School. So we enjoy living in Effingham, we enjoy the area, and I have a master's in public administration degree from SIU, and we just look forward to continually working in the area and the kids being in the area and everything else. So
excellent. Well, again, both of you, thank you for being here. Let's dive right into economic and retail development. And I want to start with a comment that was made by Effingham City Administrator Jim Arndt on the previous episode of City Spotlight, where we talked about Effingham. And he stated that businesses want to come to Effingham. We just have to find a spot for them. So if both of you could kind of play off that, and Todd, since you're the Economic Development Director, I'll let you go first off that.
Well, I think what Jim was saying is we have some spots, but not that many. And as far as on the commercial side of it, we do have several larger commercial developments we're working on right now, which would, in the Walmart, if you're familiar with Effingham, we have a lot of businesses in the Walmart area, North Keller Drive, and we do have a couple sites there still available, which we're trying to fill with the larger retail developments I just mentioned. We did recently, we just finished a new roadway system called Elderbilt West, which connects the middle and southern interchanges, and that's now opening up a lot of property over in that area, so slowly we'll develop over there. But industrial-wise, we just had Beck's Hybrids come into town, which purchased 90 acres from the city. They're going to be putting their distribution and research facility there. So that basically took up a big chunk of the available industrial property we have. So as of right now, as far as property the city has control of, we don't have a lot. So that's something, it's one of our main goals right now is try to find additional properties for businesses to locate on and both industrial and in the commercial sectors.
And Jeff, how can you expand on what he said?
Well, I think it's a very typical challenge that growing municipalities face is you run out of a development space and commercial space. And the good news is we're not landlocked. We're surrounded by cornfields. So it's just a matter of, and we certainly understand a lot of the farmers in the area and the families that have owned those farms for in some cases 100 years, being reticent to let go of the family property. And so sometimes it's just a matter of timing where the families are in their lineage. But the good news is that the property's out there, and it's just a matter of us being able to push the right buttons and appeal to the people who own that property to work with us.
Okay, and this again is for both of you along those lines. You have a major plus to work with, which is the interstate. I'd like to hear from both of you on how the interstate and the location of Effingham work into your economic development. Whoever wants to go first.
Well, I mean, the location, when you talk to any business, it's location, location, location. So being in the center of the Midwest markets, that's huge for us. Our transportation system is huge. Effingham's like the spoke of a wagon wheel, and we have all these federal and state highways and interstates that come in. We have north-south, east-west railroads. We have the Effingham Short Line Railroad. So having the location in addition to the transportation system, that makes us very favorable for projects, both industrial and commercial. So Effingham is a micropolitan center, so everybody comes in to shop, to work, for health care and everything else. So just the location is everything when you're working with companies.
And I'm sure you've seen it through the years, Jeff.
Absolutely. At one time I worked for a logistics company, an industrial development group, and you can reach, most people don't realize it, but you can reach nearly 70% of this country within 3 days by truck. So there's no reason that the not only Effingham but Central Illinois, the region itself, can't be a logistics hub. So that's something that, and there are visionaries there in the Effingham area, as Todd alluded to, Jack Schultz with Agricel and Charlie Barenfinger with the Effingham Railroad, that have seen this for 15, 20 years and been making investments in the infrastructure there to make that happen at some point. I really believe it will come to fruition.
Okay, and let's talk about some projects that are underway. I understand there's a new ambulatory care center that will be built on West Temple.
That's that is just a really exciting project. Healthcare is one of our shining stars, our shining success stories there in Effingham. HSHS St. Anthony's Memorial Hospital has just grown by leaps and bounds over the past 10 or 15 years. They're a regional healthcare center. Central Illinois falls on Effingham to get services from HSHS St. Anthony's, and this new ambulatory center is following a trend of trying to reduce cost for patients and they don't keep them in the hospital for 2 or 3 days. It's come in, get your outpatient service, your same day service, and so they're following that trend, and it's a very exciting development.
Yeah, it'll be a 44,000 square foot facility, 2-story. It'll be located just north of the hospital in the medical park area. And basically they're going to be moving some of the departments out of the hospital, freeing up space there for expansion of some other departments there, and it like the mayor said, it's just Effingham's become a regional medical health care center, and this just adds to that.
Fantastic new addition. Let's talk about some more infrastructure and the new sports complex. You can't miss it when you're coming down on the freeway from the north. Elaborate on what's going on with there and when we could see a timetable for completion of that.
Good, Todd.
That's a new 80,000 square foot facility. Like you said, it has great visibility from the interstate. I think the main idea there was to help with bringing in competitions, and the facility itself will have a competition pool, a big gym area, so we could have volleyball tournaments, basketball tournaments, and so forth. It'll have an elevated running track, and then a weight room in there, and some other meeting rooms, and then in addition it has outside facilities for other sporting events. But like I said, I think in combination with the other Park District facilities, and it is a Park District complex, they'll be able to bring in even larger competitions and just bring more people into Effingham.
You know, the whole genesis behind that idea is about 20 years old, and that was people were taking their kids to Champaign to swim or to be involved with hockey clubs. And so this has been in development now for a good 20 years, and so the real push is really what I call sports entertainment. You know, and this is where you have tournaments. But if the Workman Sports Complex proves itself, that there are a lot of people that are telling us that something like a hockey rink, again, an indoor hockey rink, because there are people traveling through Effingham to go down to Nashville and Indianapolis and St. Louis to these hockey tournaments, and Effingham's a perfect place geographically to locate a hockey rink, and so that may be the next move if we can prove this notion of sports entertainment.
Excellent. And now let's talk about the new library. Can't miss that in the downtown area. What's going on there, and when can we see completion on that?
New library is under construction. The library, through assistance from the city, actually purchased the former Fifth Third banking complex, which is just north of City Hall. Fifth Third Bank actually built a new facility just to the south, adjacent to the old facility. So the library is in there right now, rehabbing the complex. I think they're about 50% done, so probably looking sometime next year, I think, before they actually are open and move in. But will be very nice. We'll have meeting room space, and they'll have future space to expand into also.
Our time has moved quickly, so I'm going to actually skip a question. We'll probably have to have you on again to talk about maybe some public works and some road stuff. I have Jodi Thoele on later in the program to talk about tourism. And Jeff, tell me a little bit your thoughts on the exciting music and festival scene in Effingham that's going on right now. We
have a great momentum going on right now in terms of festivals and events, and we're going to try to kick that up a notch. We're going to look for different ways to different tools that we can offer the event coordinators. But we have, for instance, this coming weekend we have Taste of Freedom, where they're going to bring in different food vendors and have other types of activities downtown. And I'm really going to my administration is going to push to assist these event coordinators. With the new library, the museum that's downtown, we're already turning it into a cultural center. Again, we're going to offer these event coordinators assistance and tools that will help them take maybe average events and turn them into great events. We have the Effingham Ham Jam coming up in July, which was a barbecue festival that used to be held out at Legacy Harley Davidson. It's moving downtown, so we're really going to put a push on energy and excitement in downtown Effingham with these events.
All right, well, my last question, quickly, we'll start with Todd and then Jeff. Strengths of Effingham moving forward.
Well, I think one of the main strengths is Effingham continues to have a great entrepreneurial spirit. A lot of our major companies have started in garages, and I think that's probably one of our greatest strengths. Something else we had talked about earlier was the location. Right. I mean, the location, the transportation system. Again, our workforce is another huge strength in regard to retaining companies and attracting new companies. So I think those would be the main ones from my standpoint as far as economic development.
Jeff, your thoughts on
So
that?
again, it's entrepreneurial spirit. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
A lot of that falls back to our German and agrarian heritage. Germans are known for being hard workers, entrepreneurial. This is and I've had the great fortune to work for some of the more progressive entrepreneurs there in Effingham. I cut my teeth the past 25 years in entrepreneurial environments. So I'm hoping to be able to take what I've learned from those folks and help guide the city staff and administration in terms of how we can support those types of efforts.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking Effingham with both of you. Mayor of Effingham, Jeff Bloemker, and Todd Hull, the Effingham Economic Development Director. Gentlemen, thank you for being on City Spotlight.
Great to be with you, Ramin.
And coming up, we'll talk more in depth about all the festivals and music scene going on in Effingham with Effingham Director of Tourism, Jodi Thoele. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming events going on in Effingham. And we're back on City Spotlight in Effingham, and you just saw the upcoming events in Effingham, and we're going to talk to the Effingham Director of Tourism, Jodi Thoele, and thank you for joining us on City Spotlight.
Thank you. Yes, happy to be here.
Excellent. And we're in Effingham. You can hear the trucks behind us, and tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into some of the things going on in Effingham.
Yeah. Well, my name is Jodi Thoele. I've been in this position, the Director of Tourism, for the city of Effingham for about 3.5 years now. Live within the city, and I love my job, so it's fun. We have a lot of fun here.
And I understand you're from Effingham.
I am. I'm from Effingham. Born and raised in Effingham. Lived here all my life. I moved away for 7 years for school. Took a job. Came back here to get my master's, and it was just the perfect timing. I got this job and came back, and it's really nice to be able to champion the city that you grew up in.
And one of the things Jodi told me before we started taping is that in the last 5 years, the number of activities or events happening in Effingham has doubled. What does that say about what's going on in Effingham?
Yeah, you know, we've really just been working just so hard to just get the name out there, get the name of Effingham out there, and people have been working really hard. They're really proud of our community. Our visitors, we have a ton of visitors. So we really just, you know, everyone's been really excited about all of the things. And we have great groups of people that want to put on really fun events in the city, so.
Again, before we start listing off some of the events that are coming up, tell us a little bit about your staffing that you have here.
Yeah, it's myself, and I have another full-time person, Abby DePoyster. She does a lot of our marketing, graphic design, and then we have 2 part-time people that are here throughout the year, and you know, we keep them busy throughout the year. But in the summer months, Effingham's just really booming, so we're really busy in the summer.
One thing that's been booming of late is the farmers market.
Yeah.
Something that moved recently to the downtown. In a lot of central Illinois towns that we've had on City Spotlight, the farmers market is a pretty important thing to the towns. What does a farmers market, from what you've seen, what does it do for a town?
Yeah, you know, the farmers market, it actually moved downtown 2 or 3 years ago, and it has just boomed since then. My goodness, it's such a fantastic thing. I mean, I think it gives people pride in the goods that they are producing. So we've got fresh food down there. They have local artisans and live music, and it just, number one, people are eating healthier. They've got something to do on a Saturday morning. It's a great family event, and you know, it's just been we've been able to plan a lot of events around it too. So it's made that just even that much more of a successful event.
And let's talk a little bit about the Effingham Performance Center. You get a lot of great music acts that come here.
We do.
Not just music acts, but performances of other natures. Mm-hmm. What has the EPC meant to Effingham?
The EPC has been so important. It's really, I feel like, the rock of the music and art scene in Effingham. And Effingham is a very art-friendly community. So the Performance Center, as the not-for-profit, the EPC, has been around for a couple years now. And we get so many fantastic, I mean, we get nationally known people. You know, we also get regional and local talent, and we've had a lot of people that started out at the EPC that have now become incredibly popular. So it's really, really great to see, you know, that happen. And they have $5 sessions where local bands can come in. You know, you see comedy acts, Christian, you know, rock, country. So it's really great to have that. And I feel like since the EPC has been really successful in the last few years, it's really helped other events, especially in, like I said, the arts, music, cultural scene, really start to boom in Effingham.
Why has Effingham become a destination for the music scene that it has?
You know, I think being centrally located is such an important thing for us. We're on the intersection of I-57 and 70, so we see, you know, we're easy to get to. We've got 18 hotels, over 65 restaurants, tons of attractions. So I think that helps a lot. And I think just having the support of the people in our town, that we are that arts, music, friendly community, it just really lends itself to that.
All right, let's talk about some of these festivals now.
Yeah.
pretty much we're in the summer season now. The Moccasin Creek Festival here at the end of June. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. The Moccasin Creek Festival is the last weekend in June. It's actually out at Lake Sarah, which is just a quick 5 minutes north of town. Beautifully set. It's called The Stage. It's a 3-day Americana music festival. But they'll also, they have camping out there. It's a family-friendly event, food, drinks, and again, artisans will be out there, so lots of art, lots of great culture, and then the Americana music. So people like the Bottle Rockets, Chain Station, Matt Poss Band, a lot of regional acts, but some like nationally known Americana music, which is fantastic.
And July is stacked with lots of events. 4th of July, talk about what happens in the 4th of July in Effingham.
Yeah, Effingham has been doing their City of Effingham fireworks now for quite a few years, and on the actual 4th of July, we'll have a parade in the downtown area. It'll end in the downtown area, or no, I'm sorry, the parade will actually end at the Effingham High School. Okay. Because the parade ends at the Effingham High School, which is where the Effingham fireworks are. They were actually moved from the south side of town to the Effingham High School Sports Complex. Mm-hmm. It just gave a better access for people to be able to sit in the football stadium bleachers, have food and drinks, and make it more of an event. So that's always really fun. People really support that, and it's nice to be able to celebrate the 4th of July.
Okay, before we wrap up with you, a couple more to highlight. There's also the Lake Lights Music Festival. Mm-hmm. That's also at Lake Sarah.
It is, yes.
And let's talk a little bit about Effingham Jam. I understand there's a little barbecue there.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. This we have planned for the last weekend in July, the 24th and the 25th, Friday and Saturday. And this is an event that we've actually expanded upon. It used to be out at Legacy Harley-Davidson here in town. We've expanded upon it to make it a 2-day event, and it's now in the downtown area. We're really excited about it. We're partnering with the Chamber of Commerce to put this on. Friday night will be a local barbecue contest. It's called the Hometown Throwdown. So it's going to be really fun. Amateurs that get really serious about their barbecue, though. So it's going to be really great. We'll have some great live music. So much fun. Wine and beer tasting on Friday. Saturday is when the professionals come out, so it's the Kansas City Barbecue Society. So it's like legit professionals barbecue competition, and that'll be Saturday. We'll also have like a bags or a cornhole tournament, and lots of kids stuff to do. We're going to have like a Power Wheels derby, bounce houses, and then food and drink all weekend long. Friday night we'll have public tasting, so people will be able to taste the barbecue, which is really exciting. So it's going to be fantastic, and that is in conjunction with the farmers market, which is really neat because the farmers market is downtown on Saturdays. So we're just going to have, it's just going to be a great weekend to be in downtown Effingham, and that's something that we've really been pushing, is for more great events to be in our downtown because it's such a beautiful place. We've got the Effingham County Courthouse Museum is kind of the centerpiece to it. And we've got some great businesses in the downtown area that are really supportive. So it's really fun to be able to be involved in these events.
And the courthouse is definitely a great backdrop for that.
It is, yeah.
Farmers market.
It absolutely is.
Okay, last thing we want to highlight, and it's a big one, the Corvette Fun Fest.
Yeah.
Which and you talk about the Effingham Music Fest that goes along with that.
Yeah.
Just for people that may have not heard of it or been to it, just how large and big is that an event?
Yeah, the Effingham, the Corvette Fun Fest, which Mid-America Motor Works puts on, is just a huge event. It's actually called the world's largest Corvette party. So we get tens of thousands of people in town over those 3 days. It's always, I believe it's like the 17th, 18th, and 19th and 20th of September. So it's always that third weekend in September. It's crazy here in town. You can't go anywhere without seeing a Corvette, which is fantastic. We get so many people here in Effingham. So basically, the City of Effingham, our tourism office, kicks it all off Thursday night with a Corvette Welcome Fest downtown party. So Mid-America does a fun run road tour. So there'll be like 700 Corvettes that'll drive all around town. They'll end up in downtown Effingham with a Corvette parade. Then we'll park them all along the courthouse. We have live music and food and fun for everybody. We do giveaways and awards. It's just a really great way to kick it off. We invite residents to come down and see the cars too, and it's a way to mingle, the Corvette enthusiasts with the city of Effingham residents, and a way for us to kind of welcome Corvette enthusiasts into town. So we do that on Thursday night, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is all out at Mid-America. We're out there all weekend long. They have races out there, fashion show, expert seminars. They're doing things in their install dome. They have a fun dome. And it's not just Corvette lovers. They've got vendors set up, a lot of cool things for the kids to do. It's really neat. And we're out there as a tourism office all weekend long,
Right.
taking free souvenir pictures, giving away stuff, information, things like that. So it is just, it is a weekend where Corvettes invade our town. But it is fantastic. I mean, we love it. We're so happy that Mid-America Motorworks has been doing this. This is now the 22nd year.
Wow.
So it's been going on since, I think, 1994, the world's largest Corvette party. So it's just really neat. And then in conjunction with that, we just had the first Effingham Music Fest,
Right.
and Mid-America Motorworks puts that on too, and it's basically just a concert series.
Wow.
So concert series, we had Drew Baldridge just last weekend. We'll have a couple more throughout the summer,
Right.
kind of leading into ending up in the fall.
Right.
And there'll be, regional or national acts. So they had Brett Eldridge
Right.
was there last year,
Right.
and he's doing really fantastic on the country charts right now.
Yes.
So, we have some really fantastic music that comes out there. It's on the Fun Fest Amphitheater, so it's a huge stage. People like I think like REO Speedwagon has played on it
Yep.
before, so that it can handle a fantastic concert. And I think like they have room for like 14,000 people out there. So you can really get the concert experience out at Mid-America Motorworks for the Effingham Music Fest. And we're just happy, that's another thing that just started, I think, last year or maybe the year before, but another thing that's popped up that's been, the music and art scene.
Well, plenty going on, as you
Yes.
just listed. The Corvette Fun Fest this year is September 17th through the 20th. Jodi Thoele with the Effingham Tourism Department here in Effingham. Thank you for your time. Got a busy season ahead of you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're excited about it.
Thank you for being on City Spotlight. And thank you to all of you for being on watching City Spotlight. We'll see you next time. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.